nonsense while we give you advice and tips on business matters and matters of the heart for busy executives. And now, Katrina and Edward. Hello, this is Katrina Brittingham, your navigator on your road to success in your business. I am your business coach, and we have Dr. The Real Deal Love.
Hello, hello, hello.
So happy New Year. I know I said that in the first show, but we're still in the new year, the first of the month, the first of the year,
Yes,
first month of the year.
first month of the year. First month of
Um,
the year.
has already been busy. So if you see me looking from side to side, I'm not distracted. I have multiple monitors monitoring the different places where we are broadcasting. So,
Ooh,
yay, big things
that's
going
exciting.
on
That's exciting.
here. And so, if you see me look that way, I'm just trying to make sure everything works and that we're going the way we're supposed to on the different platforms. Because we know how social media can do us sometimes.
The great social media.
And monitoring comments, because I have comments on different platforms that I was missing last year. And I want to make sure, even if I can't put it up on the screen, to mention that someone reached out on the other platforms, which is LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
We have YouTube, my channels and Dr. Love's channels, Facebook, my channels and Dr. Love's channels, and Twitter, as well
Twitter.
as the national platform that we are on. So I have to check all of those places for comments and then
Wow.
make sure that everything is going well.
Mm-hmm.
And I promised myself I would be a better broadcaster this year. So you're
I
getting a
like that.
better me. Um,
A better version of you. Yes, that's a good thing.
yes. And so that's one of the topics for today, or the topic today. Are you ready for entrepreneurship? Ooh.
Mm.
And we're going to go through the checklist. Even if you are already a entrepreneur, and these are some things that you may need to look at, then take notes, comment, ask your questions, do what you need to do. So when you're getting started on creating a business or going into entrepreneurship, it is the most crucial thing, other than getting married and having children, that you are going to do in your career.
Mm-hmm.
It is a huge investment of your time, of your money, of your sanity sometimes. Um,
Mm-hmm.
as you see
Your
me up here sometimes frazzled. Um,
your
so,
personal life.
yes, your personal life, dating, and all of that good stuff. You're going out to dinner, you may have to sacrifice that because you are investing into your business. So there are some things that you're going to have to sacrifice in order to be this entrepreneur. So are you really ready for it? All right. I People know my story. People told me I was a business owner for the longest time, and I did not do it because I did not feel like I was ready. I actually did not think that I was an entrepreneur or I had it in me to be an entrepreneur. I have many entrepreneurs in my family. I saw what it took for them to do what they did, and I was just like, uh-uh. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the first thing you do, number one, and this is all a part of that, is conduct a personal evaluation to determine why you want to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take that stock. I'm a list girl. Put out the pros, put out the cons. All right. After you do that list and you have determined that you are ready to start a business, why you want to start a business, is it just because, oh, you want to get paid and you don't want to have your employer pay you or your boss is getting on your nerves, that's not necessarily a good enough excuse. If you feel like, okay, I'm gonna get paid on my own, guess what? You still have taxes, and all the taxes that your employer takes out from your paycheck is now on you, because what most people don't know is that employers take out half. They actually eat the cost of half of the taxes that you pay.
Mhm.
That's state, that's city, that's county. If you have a county that you have to report up to, and it's federal, and federal is huge. Okay. So, for example, when I worked for um, corporate America, $500 came out of my check for federal income tax. When I became an employer, guess what? My taxes was actually $1,000
Mhm.
time. Okay. So if you were making the same amount and say you get paid bi-weekly, that's $500 bi-weekly. So if you set yourself up, because you do have to set yourself up to get paid through your business, hopefully growing to that, then you are responsible for that. So you want to make sure that your business is financially able to handle that. If you're, because entrepreneurship and true entrepreneurship is that you are working on your business full time.
Mhm.
I have been in that place working this business and businesses now full time. And I must admit, even with me being in business, it was a shock to my system. Like, whoa, wait a minute. I have this extra expense that I didn't account for by half.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's something that you need to know and determine if you are ready. You can go into part time entrepreneurship, meaning you work your corporate job and then you work part time, so long as it does not interfere with your full time job, until your business is able to handle you full time. That's a big mistake that people make when doing a business. So when you're conducting your personal evaluation, be honest with yourself. Can your business sustain you full time? Because you
Mhm.
have people, one of the biggest mistakes is they come out before they're ready. All right. The second thing you want to do, and we talk about this all of the time, is create a business plan. If you are new in business, or if you're not, and say you did not work on your business plan at the end of 2022, this is the time you need to take a look at your business plan. What you do, has that changed if you are already in business? Have you
Mhm.
added products and services? How are you going to do it? Have you changed your strategy? And who do you serve? Has your clientele changed or been adjusted for the economy? And that happens too, where you can be presenting to a different audience one year than you are another. That happened to me when I shifted gears out of solely career services to business coaching, dealing with people who are transitioning from corporate into business and serving executives, which is still a little bit of that career services piece. Depending on the type of client that I'm dealing with, whether they're a business owner or an executive at a corporation. So you have to take a look at that, see if that has changed. Part of your business plan is doing a SWOT analysis. That's your strengths, that's your weaknesses, that is your obstacles and threats. Okay. You want to analyze and identify those things. I'm sorry, your opportunities, but you still want to look at your opposition too,
Mhm.
your competition. All right. So you want to take a look at those things and do analysis, because once you do that analysis, you may find out that you're not ready to go into business. Okay. Number 4, and I'm trying to get down to that. Okay. So number 4 is assess how much capital or money you have to invest. And in every business, when you're an entrepreneur, yes, people talk about angel capital and investments, but by law, you are required to invest a certain portion of your own finances into your business. Are you ready to do that?
Mhm.
When you go out to investors, they're going to want to see how much you are investing into your own business. Why? Because if you're not willing to invest in yourself, someone is not going to be willing to invest in you either.
Mhm.
All right. Number five is discuss your plans with your family members to ensure that you have the proper support. This is particularly needed if you are married. You can't just go into business and not tell your wife. You
Mhm.
can't just go into business and not tell your husband, because again, now you are maybe even dipping into joint finances when it comes to this. They have to buy into the time that it's going to take. Your social life is impacted by them. Little Johnny still has to go to soccer. Little Susie still has ballet practice. So you have to make sure that you have that proper support, that your person is willing to sacrifice along with you as you go into business. And Dr. Love, you can speak to that. Were you a relationship coach?
Well, the thing that came to my mind when we were talking about just the entrepreneurship, an entrepreneur is a person that's willing to take on a business or an operation with large amounts of risk. It's
Mm-hmm.
large amounts of risk, and uh, if you're not willing to take a larger amount of risk, because as you were talking about working for someone or having a job, that's safe because you don't have to take the risk of like you said, your taxes, um, your payroll, or if it's not payroll, just being able to meet the projections, because it's important also, if you're going into business, is to have an excellent accountant. You know what I'm saying? I would recommend a certified public accountant, not just someone who does books, but an accountant, someone that is certified, because they can handle, if there's a discrepancy, they can go to court and they can handle it for you. You don't have to go, but they have to be a certified public accountant in order to do that. So when you have that certified public accountant, the projection, see, each quarter what you're projected to make, what your projected expenses are. So you're not really stabbing blindly at what am I going to make this quarter. You have an ideal, you have a projection, and all the numbers line up with the projection. So it's just great to do that. And then just the relationship piece of it, when it comes down to your spouse, when it comes down to the husband, the wife, uh, it just makes for a better ride.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When
Yes.
when you're when you're operating as a team, there's no I in team. That's you and me. That's heaven on earth. When you're absolutely doing it together, operating in one, your success is almost guaranteed.
Right.
Okay, so that's important.
Right. And also, if you go into business, your spouse may go in with you. Like I know many people who are in business, husband and wife in business together. So
Hmm.
that might be a thing. You also, when Dr. Love was bringing up the CPA, you either want a CPA, a financial advisor, or a forensic accountant. They all can go to court, but also they can advise you. So when you're coming up on exceeding your budget, or your expenses are larger, they'll let you know. Whereas
Hmm.
somebody who does your books, they're just doing what's coming in. They might not necessarily, some people do, but they might not necessarily um, have the training to have those meetings with you and discussions with you. It's like, okay, your expenditures were more than what was projected, or we're coming up on it. and we still have these other expenses that are due to come in. Do we have an infusion of cash to cover this? They can also advise you on at least your financial planner on loans or something like that. Someone who knows about angel investing if you're at the point to have that. These are the type of things that a professional, a certified professional, will be able to do.
Hmm.
Um, Number six, we already talked about, is determining whether you want to be part time or full time. I rolled that up into number one because that shouldn't be the last thing you think about. It
That's the
should be
start.
the first thing,
Hmm.
and that should be in your analysis of why you want to go into business, how you're going to go into business, and things like that. So we are at committing to your business. Now you're in business. Yay, you decided you want to go in business, you decided everything. Now you have that commitment. And so we have number one, define the customer problem and how your business can provide a solution in your own unique way. This
Hmm.
is part of your business plan as well. So some of these things will actually cross over to the other areas that we talked about above. And so you want to define the customer problem. What's their pain point? We talk about that all the time. What is your customer's pain point? Determine the viability. Is there a market for what you're selling? If
Hmm.
there's not a market for your service or your product, then your business is doomed to fail because you're not going to get that income in. Okay. You do that by doing market research, which also is a component of compiling your business plan. Identify businesses that do what you do in their own unique way and how they're successful and having success.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's what you want to do. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun, pretty much, as far as, business goes. So there is somebody else who had the same idea as you. They just have their own unique way of carrying it out.
Hmm.
Case in point, when I started business coaching, there were other people that were business coaches. I had to find my niche. That's what it's called, my niche, to identify how am I answering the problem in my unique way. I
Hmm.
have concierge service that people can, is not necessarily a package. People pick and they create their package based on what their needs and their budget is. And I do what I call hand holding a little bit more, which means I'm a little more in the process. This is what this is, walking people through, because I am um, a coach and everything like that. And I know that sometimes people have questions that they may not think to ask. So I'm a little more hands on with people as they're going through their process. Dr. Love is a love coach. When he came out, there were other love coaches. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the thing that you talked about was so important. You can never go wrong with, a little more hand holding. I like that, and I really encourage that because uh, it can be so intimidating. Going into business can be so intimidating. Am I going to succeed? Am I going to make it? Am I able to divide myself to handle the task? All the hats that I have to wear, the marketing, the HR, the advertising, there's so many hats that you have to wear until hand holding is so great until you really can get your feet under you and really know what you're doing. Because if you're holding someone's hand too much, people can always say, I got this, lighten up, let me go. You know what I'm saying? So it's always easier for someone to communicate and say, you're holding me a little too tight, let me go a little further. But it's such a great feature than having someone just out there floundering. You don't really know they're floundering, their ego is inflated. They don't really want to tell you that they're floundering. So it just makes for a better relationship when I'm holding your hand. Say, let me, it's like little children. Let me know when you're ready to take off on your own. Children let you know. Let my
Mhm.
hand go, mom. Let
Mhm.
my hand go, dad. I'm good.
Mhm.
I got this. Okay. So
Mhm.
just to speak to that point, I thought that was a good issue.
Mhm. And I see it as when you're teaching a kid how to ride a bike.
Hmm.
First, they have the training wheels. The training wheels go off, and you're running beside the bike. Sometimes the kid will let you know, all right, you can let me go.
Hmm.
But the key, and my mom did this, she would run behind the bike, not necessarily
Hmm.
beside the bike, so I couldn't see her. When she knew I was good, she'd let go, and I didn't even know she was there.
Hmm.
I ran all the way down the block, went to turn around, and saw she was at the other end of the block.
That's right. You was doing it on your own.
It startled me so much I fell off the bike
Hmm. Hmm.
because I knew I had that backup, and that's what I want you to know, you have the backup. Sometimes people say, oh, okay, I got this, and some people don't, but I know that they got it, so I kind of ease off and
Yes.
let them do what they do. Now when they turn around and be like, oh man, they're not there, they'll keep going, or either they be like, wait a minute, I got another question.
Hmm.
And so that's what I do. Also, there are pitfalls in business, because once you get in business, everybody's going to want to sell you something. Everyone's going to want to sell you their 10-step plan and everything like that. And so you need someone who's been there, done that,
Hmm.
and will be able to let you know, okay, that's not necessarily where you want to go.
Yeah, you
It
don't need
sounds
that.
great.
Hmm.
Right. So that's where that goes. So when you identify businesses that have success, you're not mimicking them, meaning their whole business. You're just seeing, okay, wait a minute, this is what's working. Okay, how can I package that in a way that speaks me? Because your business should speak you. Your brand speaks you. So how can I put this in a way that it fits under my brand?
Hmm.
Um, will your business be relevant as time passes? Hmm. If not, how will you adapt to that? Or how will you adapt to changes, period? We discussed over and over, when COVID hit, a lot of people were taken off guard. I foresaw some things, not necessarily COVID. I'm not gonna say that. Um,
Hmm.
but I foresaw us moving more digitally. So I was virtual from the jump. When COVID happened, I was more set up for COVID than other businesses. I did not have to, you know, flounder around try to get something quick, because I already had something in that design.
Hmm.
I actually even had naysayers. Oh my goodness, you're coaching and you don't have an office. And I was like, I do have an office in my house. I just don't necessarily see anyone in my house. And everything. They're in the comfort of their home. I'm in the comfort of my office. And then we went from people having a brick and mortar to people being virtual. And for the most part, most people are still virtual.
Hmm.
So you have to have that foresight when it comes to your business. All right. Number 5 to committing to your business is define your market. Who is your ideal customer?
Hmm.
Everyone's not your ideal customer. So if you say, oh, I service everybody, you're already going to have problems for one or two reasons. Number one, you really don't know who your customer is, and that's bad. Number two, you're stretching yourself too thin.
Hmm.
Not everybody is meant to help everybody. Okay. So you have to know that.
Hmm.
Even doctors specialize. Some say, look, I'm going to deal with kids, I'm going to deal with geriatrics, the older people, I'm going to do internal medicine, and I'm going to deal with ages from here to here. You're not a kid, you're not a geriatric. That's a certain population. Or I'm going to do chiropractic. I'm just going to work on the back. I don't care about nothing else but your
Mm-hmm.
back.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have who your ideal customer is. Once you find out who your ideal customer is, you will be able to find out what the market size is
Mm-hmm.
for that. If once you find your ideal customer, is the market size 5 people or is it 10,000 people? How are you going to manage that? We hope it's not 5, because after you meet those 5, you still have to have the customer base. All right. How easy is it for you to acquire your customer? All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's all number 5. We have the A, which is who is your ideal customer, the B, what's your market size, and C, how easy is it to acquire your customers?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. If your customers are way over in China, how are you going to reach them?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not to say that you can't reach them. We're in a global world, but how are you going to reach them?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
The cost of reaching a customer.
The cost of reaching it and also the technology. If you're
Mm-hmm.
shipping, who are you going to go through for your shipper? How are you going to get the stuff to the shipper? How are you going to get your product? And if you are doing a product, for example, um, I have ventured into a certain area of one of the businesses that I have, which is wellness um, and everything like that. So I make bath soaks, herbal bath soaks,
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that. And so I have to figure out how I'm gonna get my product. What can I afford? Am I going to get a wholesale, hopefully wholesale, and everything like that? Which wholesaler am I going to use? How long does it take for me to get the product? If or when it blows up, how am I going to get all these products that are handmade, done, and sent in a time frame where everyone can get their stuff timely? These are
Mm-hmm.
the things that you have to consider. Okay. How easy is it for me to get that?
Mm-hmm.
Going out, how do I acquire my customers? Let my customers know this is what I do. What is your process? Are you social media? Do you have a website? These are the kind of things. Like, how are you marketing your website? Because guess what? People think, oh, you just put a website out there and that's it. No, you have to market it. You have to either know somebody who knows SEO, which is search engine optimization. So you come up in the searches. These are all things that you have to consider. How easy is it going to be for you to do these things? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Evaluate how to solve this problem that the customer has today, as well as what the competition offers. How do they solve your people's problems?
Mm-hmm.
All right. How well do you do customer service? Is a big one. Okay. The biggest thing for you to lose a customer is if you have poor customer service. Create a financial plan, which we talked about before, identifying your costs and forecasted sales to see if your capital gets you a profit. Most businesses, and this is what another thing that people have to know, most businesses take at least 5 years to make a profit. You can break even in any time from year one up to 5 years. But after that, you will probably be making a profit, hopefully, or sometimes sooner. But you have to monitor to find out where you are to make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I do coach people on is because, again, you have those people, oh, I can get you 6 figures in 90 days. Really? Okay. How many people have you done this for? And most of the people who say that, and they'll have their testimonials, and they'll say results are atypical.
Mm-hmm.
But when they're selling it to you, they're like, make this in this time. And you can do everything that they prescribe you and still not make that money.
Right. What are you guaranteeing me? That's the question.
They guarantee nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be that folk gave you a money back guarantee, but now they don't even do that.
Mm-mm.
Um, Sometimes they do is like, oh, you had to follow the whole prescription, and then you'll go through like I followed the whole prescription, but it's like, oh well, we have coaching services after this. That's like $700 a month. You didn't get that, So it's all kinds of things that people have and things and fine print and this, that, and the third that you don't know about, and that's extra costs to you. So that's something that you want to definitely take into consideration. We are going to go to a short break, and then we're going to continue on with setting up your business so that you are prepared if 2023 is the year that you say, yes, I am going to step out into entrepreneurship. We will see you in a few minutes,
Mm-hmm.
a few seconds.
From one-on-one executive coaching to our business building concierge service, Ventureready helps entrepreneurs, startup executives, and business owners build, scale, and run their businesses using techniques that support stability and long-term growth. Through the Career GPS radio show and High Tea with Me TV program, we promote smart business strategies for the real world. Then, in our one-on-one coaching programs, we help entrepreneurs go beyond the vision board to realize their big vision into a tangible business with a promising future. If you're waiting to feel legit, here's the thing: you have to legitimize yourself. It's time to stop treating your business like a hobby. Get real, it's your career. So let me ask you, are you venture ready?
All right, and we are back.
We're
So,
back.
are you venture ready? That's what we're asking you today. If you are not, or you need a little hand holding, reach out to us 888-712-4956. Had to remember my number. Or
Mm-hmm.
you can email me info@ventureready.net, or you can set up an appointment through my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ventureready. I have a whole lot of ways for you to reach me
Mm-hmm.
that is
That's what you
convenient
need.
for you. All right. So we have setting up your business. And I'm going to kind of go through these steps kind of quickly because of the fact that we've gone through these things before. Number one is setting the name of your business. You want to perform a corporate name search to make sure your name is available. That is big. Okay. Even if your name is the same as another business, you cannot register it the same way as far as trademark, as far as color, logos, and things like that. You have to have something that sets you apart, even going down to your font. Okay. Again, we can help you with that. That's called your branding. Register a domain name and secure your social media profiles for the company.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, you have to make sure that that name is available for your business name. When you do social media, same thing. That name has to be available, and they'll tell you right away, this name is taken.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you have that. Apply for your EIN or your tax ID number for the IRS, your local and state business licenses, and your taxes. Open a business bank account and apply for a business credit card. You might be able to apply for a business credit card a little bit later. Okay. Even with the business bank account, because they do look at your personal credit, and going for a business account is a little bit different. So if you cannot do that right away, I would say open up a separate bank account, period,
Mm-hmm.
where your finances for the business are there and is not meshing with your personal finance. All right. And once you get yourself up and running and build your business credit, because that is a such thing, then
Mm-hmm.
you be able to open a business bank account and apply for a business credit card. All right. Find an appropriate space to become your primary location. Like I said, we're virtual. Talk to me. We can talk about whether you're virtual and how to set that up, and also your business address that you will use. Once you have secured where you're going to do business, you want to have a business phone number, not your personal number, your business phone number, because you're going to get clients through that line. You're going to get people that's trying to sell you stuff through that line. You're going to get scammers through that line and everything like that. And make sure that you are able to manage your business utilities. That's another bill that people don't consider. You still have to have lights, you have to have heat, you have to have air conditioning, depending on where you are, because it gets hot.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that you manage that. And
Business
people don't really
expenses.
think about it. Water, wherever you are, you have to be able to use the facilities. So, because it's like, oh, I get bottled water. Okay, that's an expense, but you still have to use the facilities, and it's a cost. If you have water running anywhere that's not coming from the sky, it's going to cost you money.
Mm-hmm.
So, make sure that you prepare for that. Decide on a legal structure, which we have gone through before, and we probably will again this year. If you want to be a corporation, if you want to be an LLC, a sole proprietor, a LLP, which is a limited liability partnership, or a partnership. Decide on what you want to do and how you want to structure your business, because you will be taxed differently. Okay. And you will be responsible for certain filings depending on the type of company that you set up. You'll have stocks, possibly depending on the structure that you have or not. Okay. Get your website up and running, hire a webmaster. Um, Unless you have some technical skill, you can do it yourself, like I did. But I did eventually hire a webmaster
Mm-hmm.
to maintain those things, because I don't do that solely for a living. So, you know, it worked when I first started for the first couple years. And then as things grew, I had to get somebody who knew a little bit more. All right. Set up an accounting and record keeping system. This is regardless of whether you have a CPA. So you do want to hire an accountant, a CPA, a financial advisor, forensic accountant, whatever you do.
Mm-hmm.
Want to have a system though.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people say, oh, well, my accountant has a system. Have your own system.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you leave that accountant, you still have that system. Okay. So have your own accounting system. Select what your fiscal year is going to be. Is it January? Is it March? Is it October? You can have a fiscal year. It does not have to be the same as the calendar
Mm-hmm.
first year, but you have to establish that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Evaluate and select your needed insurance policies. Again, you have insurance that you have to do. Some of them are employee based, like workers' compensation, health insurance
Mm-hmm.
for yourself, for your workers. All right. Business insurance to cover
Mm-hmm.
you just in case someone sues you. All right. And this can be for service. Oh, I didn't get the right service. They taking you to court. You need insurance for that. If you had a typo or something like that, guess what? People can sue you for that, and there's liability. So make sure that you have that. If you have a product that hurts someone, unfortunately, it happens, even with the best of intentions. So you need to make sure that you have business insurance. How much business insurance do you need? That is going to come with a cost. Okay. And we can go through again more of this when you contact me for coaching. All right, because there's a lot of detail that goes into that. All right, prepare and begin networking with pre-market materials. Business cards, people still use them. Electronic business cards, you can email out and things.
Mm-hmm.
Letterhead, if you for any documentation or letters you have to send out, electronic or paper. Invoicing, brochures, and public relations. So if you have a budget for public relations and things like that, that's like your press releases for events and things that you have. You want to make sure that you have that in place and you're working on that. So then you want to introduce your business to your surrounding locale. So, for instance, I was in Philadelphia. So I introduced my business to the Philadelphia area. I moved
Hmm.
to Delaware County. I introduced my business to my location. What is that? The Chamber of Commerce in Philadelphia, the Chamber of Commerce in Delaware County, local associations. These things help you be where you need to be. We
Very
are
important.
coming, yes, we are coming up on the hour. So I am going to open the floor to Dr. Love if he has any comments, and then we are going to close out for the night.
Mhm. Well, that's just a good point that you made when you talked about networking. Uh, that's important to network with other businesses, other entrepreneurs. Join associations. That's a key point to join other associations because uh, so there's certain associations that you can join that have medical packages that have benefits that you can actually tune into so that you as a sole proprietor, if you join an organization, you get a medical rate based on the organization that you join. So joining organizations is so important for your business and for you to kind of like begin to be around like minds because iron sharpens iron. So that's just
Mhm.
you can't lose when you just get around other business minded people and other organizations. As Miss Katrina mentioned, joining your local chamber of commerce, because that's another resource that tells you to deal with all types of aspects, your insurances, your expenses. So, uh, as much as you can, I wish someone had told me that early in business. Associations, join associations. Don't be the Lone Ranger.
Mhm.
Okay, that's important. Get out there, network, get yourself a coach. You know what I'm saying? You can't afford not to have a coach, and you don't have to hire full time, but just have someone that you can call and talk to and just kind of like ask, am I going in the right direction? Am I making the right decisions? The term I use is tell me how I should be thinking, how I should be thinking about this particular matter or this service. Okay. So important. Okay. To get
Mhm.
someone else's eyes, someone else's opinion on you, because it says, I know what I know, but that's all I know.
Right.
Okay. Someone else can just add to you in just a short period of time with just some great interaction. So that's important.
Mhm. It is. It's definitely important. Um, they also, help you with developing your business, certain skills that you may need. It's always good to have a partnership with other business owners because they will have insight that you may necessarily not have.
Hmm.
Even resources that they can send you to. And when I say resources, like different engagements, I did not start speaking at certain places until I was a part of an organization where somebody came to me, is like, so and so or this organization are looking for speakers for this conference. This place offers you the opportunity to speak for free or for a fee,
Hmm.
and everything like that. But it gets you out there. Um, I'd never forget. I had a young lady that I reached out to, and I introduced her to a conference, and then she in turn turned around and was like, you know what? This place is looking for a speaker for this. I don't do this, but you do. And can I recommend you? I was like, can you? Yeah, sure.
Hmm. Please,
And
by all
everything.
means.
Yes. And it opened up an opportunity. And it actually was like my first paid speaking engagement,
Hmm.
and everything. Because in the beginning, sometimes you are farmed out for free until people get to know you and your professionalism and how you present, and everything like that. So sometimes you can get paid engagements off the strength of someone else, because she had spoken at that organization for her area. of expertise before. She was like, look, I know somebody that's awesome. And when that person spoke to me, it went a whole different way. It's like, oh, how much do you want to get paid? And then I didn't have to go through my whole spiel. And it won't
Mm-hmm.
always necessarily go like that, but these are the things that are available to you by joining those associations, like Dr. Love said, and getting yourself out there and acclimated.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them provide trainings for you. If you have in an industry where you need continuing education credits, they will provide training for that. Again, that's for a fee, not for free
Mm-hmm.
when they do that. But it's a one-stop shop. You don't have to look around to find it. Whereas most people will be looking around. If you become a member of one of those organizations, you actually get a discount on the training. So that's a savings in when it comes to cost of your
Mm-hmm.
continuing education. All right. So whew, it's that time already.
It's that time.
So thank you for joining us for this episode of High Tea with me. And we will see you next week. Thank you for joining us for another episode of High Tea with me. To be a sponsor or a guest, contact us at info@ventureready.net. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.